Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Major Kimberly Page. I am the G5 for 16 Charlie, and I will be going over the COA plan along with our lead maneuver planner, Captain Ski. I also want to start by reading our proposed mission statement to set the tone for the following brief. So 4th ID is going to defeat AHA forces in AO4, oriented on Objective Bravo, no later than D+40 to restore the international borders of Azerbaijan and Kyrgyzstan, and on order, destroy OSCE forces in the vicinity of Objective Charlie to deny OSCE the ability to reconstitute. Our essential tasks for this operation is to defeat AHA forces in AO4, orient on Objective Bravo, as well as destroy OSCE forces in vicinity of Objective Charlie. All right, I want to go ahead and start talking about our COA sketch up here. This is just a conceptual map that kind of shows us what our plan is. And we deem that the problem for this scenario, or for this operation, is all of the enemy forces are along one major MSR that goes right up the middle of AO4. There's 2 divisions of enemy forces, and they're positioned along this major avenue of approach, securing this bridge right here in depth. We have assessed that a way of getting after this problem is to go ahead and maneuver down south along this route axis right here, put up 2 bridges so we can get our tanks across, and then attack to defeat 18th DTG in the mountain region right here, which is our objective hood. So why defeat 18th DTG? Well, we assess that this is the enemy's center of gravity. They are oriented on Baku because in follow-on phases they are the main effort, and they're sitting in a reserve position. So they're oriented this way, and they're not necessarily anticipating any enemy activity, especially coming from their rear flank here. This force is necessary in order to conduct what AHA forces want to do, which is seize key infrastructure and pipelines and other terrain. So we are going to maneuver down this way. We're going to set up 2 bridges using some non-lethal effects to go ahead and jam and stop communication in and out of that objective. Defeat here, and then we're going to move along this axis towards Objective Bravo, remaining oriented on Objective Bravo the entire time. And so another reason why we're coming from this way is this right here is the enemy's artery. This is how they're getting all of their gas and major supplies up to their forces in the north and in the entire AO. So by cutting across here and cutting off the enemy, we think that we're meeting the commander's intent best by not allowing any more fuel up this way and forcing them to feel like they need to retreat. Once they're cut off from their supplies here, it's only a matter of time, not to mention that since this is their main effort in follow-on phases, we're psychologically isolating the enemy at this point, and they're going to have nowhere else to go. Their major follow-on forces have been defeated. From here, once we have Objective Bravo and we have this main supply route secure, we will go ahead and let them withdraw and then be on order to go ahead and destroy enemy in the vicinity of Objective Charlie. So going back over here to our key concepts, I just want to reorient you to the concept. First is bypass. We deem that it's very important to just go ahead and bypass all this unnecessary forces. Rather than getting to a tank versus tank attrition fight along the main avenue here, we are going to leave from up here at D+11 around 1830, move down towards Objective Robin in limited visibility, put that bridge up, bypassing all of the unnecessary fights. So when we get here, even if it takes a little bit longer, we should have most of our combat power still available to us to fight the 18th DTG. We assess that it should take about 36 hours from attack position Lion down to Objective Robin. Next is the quick penetration of the enemy's disruption zone. By coming this way, again, like I said, it should take, we assess, about 36 hours. But it's not necessarily just speed, but it's the fact that we're preserving as much of our combat power by not necessarily going right down this middle. At the same time that we're getting at Objective Robin, we also have an air assault operation that's going to take 1st Brigade of the 10th Mountain to the far side of the bridge, and then they're going to maneuver up into the mountain area. So why 10th Mountain? That's what they do best in that kind of terrain. So by setting up an asymmetric fight in the mountains with light infantry against tank forces, we think that that'll be one of the best ways to get at the enemy here without just using tank on tank, given the terrain. Next, like I said earlier, I think that this will create an unexpected attack. They're oriented up north. They're waiting for they're on order to go ahead towards Baku. So we will surprise the enemy in their reserve position. And finally, as I had already mentioned, this main artery right here is key to the enemy's success. Without it, they're not going to have enough fuel and gas and other supplies to continue fighting north. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn over the brief to Captain Ski, who's going to walk you through the task and purpose of the maneuver forces as they go into the different objectives.
Mr. Szutowski, I'm the leader of the maneuver in Staff Group 60 Charlie, and I'm going to provide you some details about our COA schedule. First of all, a few words about our maneuver combat power. Our forces consist of our US forces, national and international as well. On our national, we have two ABCTs, one SBCT and one IBCT. About our international, we have 9 Panzer from Germany, 12 mechanized from Great Britain, and 16 mechanized from the Azerbaijan forces. Moreover, when we are talking about our phase number 3, it was divided for 5 sub-phases. If you are lost during my presentation, you can easily find yourself on the blackboard. There are the name of the phases and what is the start and the end of each of them. The first sub-phase, 3 alpha, starts from phase line white and finish on phase line black. During this phase, first, our 12th Great Britain Mechanized Brigade will conduct the guarding operation on the north of our axis number 1 to provide a freedom of maneuver for our maneuver forces. Secondly, our 3-4 Armored Brigade will conduct an offensive operation along the axis number 1 to clear the road for the following maneuver forces. Second, 1-1 Striker Brigade will conduct follow and support operation to help achieve the success by our main effort. Finally, our 1/3 Armored, our reserve force, with task to destroy all enemy elements which can infiltrate to disrupt our maneuver. Reaching the phase line black by 3-4 Armored Brigade, finish our sub-phase 3 Alpha. The sub-phase 3 Bravo starts from phase line black and finish in objective Robbie. During this phase, our 3-4 Armored Brigade will continue the attack along the axis number 1, which task to seize object Robin from the north side and block our potential enemy from the north side. Our 1-1 Striker Brigade will conduct an offensive operation to seize the object Robin from the south side and set a condition for building bridges. Our Azeri Brigade will be tasked to secure our southern flank of objective Robin and block our potential enemy from the south side of the object. Our 1-3 Armored Brigade still follow our main forces and are reserved to destroy any potential enemy which can infiltrate to our position. As fast as 3-4 Armored Brigade and 1-1 Striker Brigade reach the phase line red, our air assault will be conducted. The air assault will be conducted along the phase line, the axis Falcon to infill our 1 110th Mountain Brigade to the opposite bank of the phase light red with two tasks. First, seize the object Robin from the east side. Moreover, to block our potential threat from the 18th Armored Division located in objective hood. The seizing of objective Robin finish our subphase number 3 Bravo. The subphase 3 Charlie starts from objective Robin and finished in objective hood. During this phase, along using the two bridges which were built in the phase line red, like a first 3/4 Armored Brigade assault able to block the 841 Akhurastan Brigade from the south. Second, at the same time, 1-3 Armored Brigade and 1-1 Striker Brigade will cross the river and move to Assault Baker and Assault Cody to prepare to conduct an offensive operation to seize the object hood. Next, our 9th Panzer Brigade Germany will follow through the axis number 1 and cross the river in the objective Robin. At this time it will be our reserve forces. Moreover, our 12th Mechanized Great Britain Brigade will be retasked to provide security for the non-lethal for our units. When all of these conditions will be achieved, our 1/3 and 1/3 Armored Brigade and 1-1 Striker Brigade will conduct an attack along axis number 4 and axis number 3 to seize the object hood and defeat 18 Akhurastan Division located in the object. Seizing the objective hood, finish the subphase 3 Charlie. The subphase 3 Delta starts from objective hood and finish in objective Bravo. During this phase, firstly, our 1-1 Striker Brigade isolate the city located along the axis number 5 with support of 110th Infantry Brigade. Secondly, our 1-3 Armored, secondly, our 9th Panzer Brigade attack along the axis number 5 with task to seize the objective Bravo on the south side. Simultaneously, the 3/4 Armored Brigade will conduct an offensive operation along the axis number 6 to seize the object Bravo and defeat the Akhurastan 18th Division located in the object. The seizing of the objective Bravo finished the subphase number 3 Delta. The subphase 3 Echo starts from objective Bravo and finish in the objective Charlie. During this phase, the 3/4 Armored Brigade secure the objective Bravo from the north side of terrain. After that, nextly, our 1-3 Armored Brigade will conduct an offensive operation to destroy the 842 enemy Mechanized Brigade and seize the object Charlie. 9th Panzer Brigade will task like a reserve for 1/3. No change No change for 1-1 Striker Brigade, no change for 1-10 Infantry Brigade, no change for 12 Great Britain Brigade. Seizing the objective Charlie, finished our subphase 3 Echo and the whole phase number 3.
This is our COA brief. Again, the aim here is to isolate the enemy, cut them off from major supplies, whilst remaining oriented on Objective Bravo and defeating AHA forces, forcing them to feel like they need to withdraw along this area back across the international border. I open it up to some questions at this time. Yes, sir.
What two brigades are going north along X-ray in order to do the second core deception plan?
Along which area, sir?
You were tasked by the Corps as part of the Corps' deception plan to send two brigades along X-ray to the north. Which two brigades are doing that mission?
We are not sending two brigades along the north.
So did you get approval from higher that you're not going to do that as part of the Corps deception plan?
The biggie.
Okay.
So I had two questions. 12th Mountain, do you think the 77th is going to, when the 12th German Brigade sets up the guard, do you expect the 77th after you seize Objective Bravo to fall back toward Bravo, or do you expect them to stay?
77?
No, 77. No, I don't think that we'll expect them to necessarily fall back.
Yeah.
They're just there in case. Our goal is not to make contact with them, but we are prepared that if they see us maneuvering along that axis, that we can defend ourselves and give them a little bit of, grit at them while we go around. But we would like to not make any contact. We're trying to avoid and bypass as much of the other forces as possible to get down to our objective as quickly as possible.
Okay, check. And then in an effort for that, are you augmenting the 12th German, the 12th Great Britain Brigade with anything else to accomplish that guard?
No, and they were chosen specifically because out of our two international forces, they speak English, so we'll have the easiest time coordinating with them. But for that mission, again, since we're not trying to make contact, they should be ample.
Okay, check. And then one last question, sorry. The 88th threat for the air assault from or 10th Mountain does, what do you see the 88th threat as they seize the far side of Objective Bravo?
So what do I see them doing?
Well, to mitigate the 88th threat from the
We are going to use non-lethal effects to go ahead as we, at the same time we're setting up the bridging at Objective Robin, our EW is going to jump onto Objective Hood, so they're going to be jammed, they're not going to have as many capabilities. So as the air assault's coming in, and there's some also see that Major Group.
Right, so there's going to be an on-order mission that the AMC commander of the lift, the fight is going to go do conduct air assault. He will make the determination whether to trigger the siege mission to occur or use audacity and surprise to go in without the siege being required. It will be EW, and then we'll have pre-planned targets within the objectives if siege becomes a requirement. But one way we're going to mitigate is that the air assault's going to be at night, so the manpad threat, S-18s, will be mitigated because they need visual contact to engage the aircraft, but the radar threat to the SA-15s will be covered with the EW and the siege mission.
Okay, roger that. Thank you.
So, you guys might run this through. If you are contested at the river crossing, is there any contingency? Did you guys look at a contingency to try to possibly feint in any other location to keep 177th there?
So we have a few alternate bridging sites. So if there is an issue there, we have 2 more bridges in reserve that we can set up at our alternate sites. If for some reason we're just not able to bridge, our commanders are going to know that they need to get up to the other major bridging site that's already, and that might be a little bit of a contested fight there just to get to the other side of the bridge. But this is the last option, and we have other bridges and other bridging sites along that water gap crossing.
And for the 10th Mountain doing the air assault, do you think there'll be some challenges with the armor and the by entry trying to block armor forces?
I think that they're going to have an advantage because there's only so many roads, and a lot of those roads are in the lower ground of the terrain. And so because they're 10th Mountain and just with their equipment set, they're going to have the asymmetrical advantage to kind of rain down on some of those tanks. So not necessarily. And within, so at 03:30, the air assault will be complete. They're going to be moving into those positions. By 04:30, we're going to have 2 tank brigade combat teams across the water gap. By 08:30, so they're going to only be on the ground for about 5 hours without all of the combat power coming across that bridge. So unless there's any issue with bridging after we get there, which hopefully our non-lethal effects can help us with, everybody's going to be across within a 5-hour period of time. Just 10th Mountain's going to get up there and kind of set the stage first.
And then, do you guys have an IDP plan if the enemy floods that specific route with IDPs? That could hinder your
We do.
timeline?
97th MP Battalion's tasked to do route security, and they're going to coordinate with the 415 CA Battalion to make sure that the routes are cleared and IDPs are moved to a specific camp established in our area for the to pull over.
Plus, there's no bridges there, so the IDPs are probably going to head back into Kyrgyzstan because they can't get across the rivers like we can. So that'll help mitigate some of that risk of them moving into our area.
Do you have an IC plan?
Let's see.
Information collection?
Yes. Yes.
We do.
Okay.
I just didn't have anything like reconnaissance or
And
anything
so-
brief, like confirming where all these enemy units are, so I just wanted to see.
Thank you, by the way.
Oh.
What about the C2 plan? Where's the TAC going to be located?
So the TAC is going to move once Objective Robin is secure, and forces are going to move on. It's going to start to move down because the Great Brits are going to secure the lock, so it'll be free to open up once Objective Robin is secure. They're going to come down and stage at Objective Robin as we move on towards Objective Bravo. And our signal officer is not here, but the just general commo plan is that we're probably not going to have a lot of data assets for this period of time, but we're going to be self-sustaining as far as commo along all of the lines.
Sir, Matt and I worked this the other day, so I'm pretty familiar with this course of action. So you'll have upper TI, voice and data for division and above, and brigade and below you'll have just voice as the primary.
PAAs, the fires plan that would go, I'm assuming they would move along south of the garden.
Yes.
So, say your question one more time.
PAAs.
PAAs locations?
Yeah, so they're gonna, initially you're gonna start out with PA1's gonna be just north phase line white, and then as the units progress forward, you'll have PA2 will move along, go to phase line brown, and then forward to phase line black, and then we will not go any further than phase line red. Correction, we'll have one at phase line red, and then we'll actually, the furthest we'll go is hood, objective hood, with 2-4 more likely.
Okay.
You mentioned the SEMA activities, so the cyber and EW at the bridge site at Objective Robin. What's that composed of? Is it cyber or EW?
So I'm going to defer
Electronic
to Mobit
warfare.
first. We're going to start with cyber about an hour prior to us reaching Objective Hood, and then some EW capabilities, a 4-hour stretch of cyber, and then it's going to jump to cover Objective Hood, and she can talk a little more details about exactly. It's going to leapfrog through the objectives. It's back towards a withdrawal, so it's not like a complete blackout, but some communication like, hey, we don't know what's happening, creates some confusion, as well as, okay, now we're going to lift it, you're going to report back that things aren't going good, and hopefully that'll help mobilize a lot of these Afghanistan forces out of Azerbaijan.
Okay, so the cyber piece is, you're classifying that as OCO, offensive cyber?
Yes, for Robin and Hood, we are going to do offensive cyber, conduct offensive cyber type operations, like I said, to obstruct any kind of in and out communications via internet or landline or cellular phone. And then once we get past Objective Hood, and then we get into Objective Bravo, then we're going to start defensive, working with the Azerbaijani government to make sure that we have cyber enabled information operations capabilities on that back end.
Okay, I was just wondering, because we wanted to do something similar, but the OCO is a POTUS level authority.
Right.
So was that an RFI that went through LCC?
That was already pre-coordinated well before D+12. RAPs authorized and things of that nature.
Got 2 questions.
You mentioned so the 10th Mountain is gonna be doing objective Robin and Hood. What's gonna be what's that
So
split?
they're going to, when they come in on their air assault, they're going to just secure the far side of the bridge. They have 2 assault positions that they're going to LZ into different LZs, and then they're going to move forward into the mountains. So they're not actually securing. 3-4, I think it is going to come in and help secure the 2 sides and the objectives. So it's just to kind of position the 360 around.
So they're landing in vicinity of Robin.
Yes. Go ahead.
And how are and then they're dismounted, moving that 20 kilometers to
Right,
Hood?
so the first lift will come in at objective, LZ Jerry, and then they will technically move into positions, battle positions to block, and support objective Robin. They'll be an objective Batman, is where that 1 battalion and 1/10 will be. Second 2 and 3, lift 2 and 3 will go into LZ Jerry and LZ Butch. And they'll provide 1 battalion each in there. Then they'll tactically move within their position to objective Joker to support that blocking mission on the 18th. And then they'll have 1 attack by fire position at each of their objectives, supported by 1 Apache battalion.
Okay, so 2 battalions and 1 battalion, that's the split.
Right, 1 battalion, 1 battalion, 1 battalion at each
Okay.
of the LZs, supported by 1 Apache battalion per objective.
Okay. The second question is, back on the west side of the river, what is guarding your lock? I see Azerbaijan oriented south towards that enemy, with 2 enemy brigades just north of your lock, and all of your armor forces pouring across the river. What's defending on the west side of the river?
You're saying over here?
Yeah.
So
What stops them from
we
going
will have
south?
the guard up, but like I said, we're hoping that we're not making contact, and it's our assessment that they're anticipating us coming this way. This is where their EAs are, and so we will, in a lot of ways, just try and bypass that as quickly as possible before they even necessarily realize what's going on.
Yes, moreover, that 12 Great Britain Brigade, they will still stay on the west side of the river. So this brigade consists of 5 battalions, so they can be tasked easily to block or just to secure our locks.
Okay, so the British are guarding
The British,
that northern attack?
along the whole phases, sub-phases, they will stay on the east side of the river.
Okay.
What was your operation timeline again? I forgot. It was, you said.
Okay, so on this one, just to kind of run us through it, we're going to leave the 3rd one down. Kind of gives us a little bit of a.
Right.
Sorry.
Can you zoom out a little bit?
Okay. So this is just kind of a general idea, and the time obviously will be dependent on the 18th DTG and how much of a fight that is. But we're looking at leaving a D+11 at 1830 from attack position Lion, and it's our assessment it's going to take 26 hours to get from attack Lion to the vicinity of objective Robin where the bridging. And in an effort to try and do this under limited visibility, we would like to arrive right around 2000, well BMNTs at 2000, we'd like to arrive at objective Robin ready to start bridging at 2030 just as the sun is going down. And so this will start bridging at 2030 on D+12. At D+13 at 0430, which up here as you can see how long it's going to take, 8 hours per bridge per brigade combat team, but there's 2 bridges. So at D+13 at 0430, we will have 2 bridges across. And then just to back up, the air assault is also going to begin at 2000, covered in darkness. And the air assault, which is going to take 7.5 hours, should be complete at 0330. So 2 brigade combat teams are going to be across the bridge at D+13, which remember we left at D+11 at 1830. At D+13 at 0430, 2 brigades are going to be across. And at 0330, just before that, all of 10th Mountain is going to be in their positions. Then it's going to be another 4 hours to get that final BCT across those 2 bridges. And at D+13 at 0830, we will have all of our forces across the bridge, and they're going to be moving and oriented on objective Hood. From there, obviously, it's really tough to say how long, but then we will move on like we planned to objective Bravo.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, so at that time, that concludes our COA brief. Thank you, guys.